Good morning. I'm glad you could join us for this morning's event, Growing Tech Talent, It's Everyone's Business, which has been organized by the Sector Strategies Committee of the Capital Area Workforce Development Board. If we can move to the next slide. I'm Brian Holland, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. I serve as chair of the Capital Area Workforce Development Board, and I'm general counsel at Global Knowledge, one of the world's largest IT training companies. The IT industry is a focus of the Sector Strategies Committee, but one of the things they've noticed is that IT jobs are not limited to the IT industry. Almost every company, large or small, has the need for employees with IT skills. For businesses that aren't in the IT sector, figuring out how to attract and hire that talent can be a challenge. Today, we hope to provide you with some insight and resources to help you fulfill your IT talent needs. So let's take a quick look at today's agenda, and if we could move to the next slide. So today, we're going to begin talking about and doing a quick overview of IT talent needs and challenges, and I'll be covering that. Then we're going to have an employer panel that is going to talk to you about the real-world challenges they faced and solutions that they've employed to attract tech talent. Then we're going to go and move to providing you information about how we, Capital Area Workforce Development, can help and provide you with information about resources we can make available. And then we'll wrap up. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. We have a jam-packed agenda, so we may not be able to get to all of them in today's presentation, but we'll do our best to follow up. So first, let's learn about your challenges. What we want to do is do two quick polls, which will give our panelists and other speakers a better sense of the specific challenges that you are facing. First, we'd like to know, and if you can open the poll, please, we'd like to know what type of IT positions are hardest for you to fill. Software developers, programmers, and engineers, computer networking and IT support professionals, technical sales reps, database administrators and systems architects, cybersecurity analysts, or if it's something else, please put that in the chat. And it looks like you're pretty well spread across the board in that area, which is interesting. Well, now cybersecurity is taking the lead. Okay, I think we can end the polling. Okay. If we can move to the second poll. If we could stop share results and move to the second poll. There we go.
Just a moment.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
This gives our panelists more time to look at the information too. All right. And for our second question, we want to know, what is your biggest barrier to hiring IT positions? Is it a lack of applicants? Is it that the applicants lack the required education or credentials that you're looking for? Do the applicants lack the necessary work experience? Are you unable to meet their salary request? Or is it something else? If so, please put that in your chat. Right. I think it's very clear here that the biggest challenge that most people are having, at least in today's audience, is coming up with salaries that are competitive. So if we can close this poll now. Ah, I see what the problem was. It wasn't on your screen, it was on mine. The poll was still up. So I apologize for that. So in 2020, more than 700 employers in the Triangle were surveyed about their future hiring plans and the challenges they faced filling those needs. You can find a copy of this report on Capital Area's website in the report section under the resources tab. I believe we'll also be sending the link to you as a follow-up. We can move to the next slide. Let's take a first look at the areas with the most projected job openings. You'll see that they are the same list that we put in our survey before. And as we saw from your answers to that survey, the group that is on the call today is pretty well dispersed among these areas. The takeaway from this is that if this is where your hiring needs are, you need to understand that there are a number of other employees competing for the same talent and will be in the near future. If we can move to the next slide, please. In this slide, the survey has shown some different ways companies are solving their tech hiring needs. First, credentialing. You'll see that companies still rely heavily on college degrees as a standard qualification. However, in the 2020 survey, we saw the drop in the requirement go from 49% in the prior survey to 39% in 2020. Employers are more readily looking at and accepting other types of credentialing, and this is definitely something you should be thinking about. Second, you'll see that employers are using a variety of different training programs to skill up existing employees. Too often people feel that they have to hire in these skill sets when it may be possible through training and development to create those skill sets in-house. If we can move to the next slide. An important takeaway from the regional skills analysis is that IT software and analytics was the fastest growing of all 10 industries that we surveyed. Tech has been the quickest to recover from the downturn as a result of the pandemic. And the Raleigh MSA has seen a 43% increase in IT job postings since March 2020. I bring this up because these employers need a lot of tech talent, which means that the competition for these employees and skill sets may be tough. And as you know from recent announcements, we'll have a number of new businesses with tech-heavy needs moving into the Triangle. And as you all noted here, you're also having problems matching salaries with these tech companies. So it's going to be important to think about it creatively. If we can move to the next slide. And this is where I want to say, don't abandon hope. The talent is there, and we'll be attracting more talent to the Triangle. But to best compete, you need to be thinking differently about your hiring process, who you want to hire, and how you can turn what's unique about your company to give you an advantage. So let me turn this over to our Business Engagement Director, Barbara Brothers, in the employer panel. Barbara?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. What I want to start with by making sure if you have any questions, please be sure to enter them in the chat.
All right, was that Barbara we lost, or was that me?
That was Barbara.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Barbara to come back, if I can ask the people on the employer panel to introduce themselves. Tony, if you'd begin.
Good morning. My name is Tony Marshall. I'm president and CEO of ISG. We are a cybersecurity services and training company. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. And I'm going to turn this back over to Barbara since I saw her pop back on.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And so, so Tony mentioned he's a cybersecurity services and talent development company. They've trained existing staff to upskill and fill new IT needs at their company. So thank you for joining us today, Tony, and certainly for your service on the Capital Area Workforce Development Board. I'd also like to introduce Kathy Wen. Kathy is a tech recruiter from Advanced Auto Parts, and she's joining us this morning as well. And as we all know, Advanced Auto Parts is a leading automotive aftermarket parts provider serving both professional installers and do-it-yourselfers. The interesting thing, as we all know, they moved their corporate office to Raleigh a few years ago, and they're really known as a nationwide retailer, but they actually have a very large IT department. So we're going to be interested to hear from Kathy as well. So Kathy, thank you for joining us this morning. And you bring a unique perspective to the conversation today, Kathy. Not only do you currently work as an IT recruiter at Advanced Auto, but you used to do IT recruiting for IBM, so tech giant that we're all familiar with. So tell us a little bit about the difference of recruiting for a tech giant versus a very large company with a large IT department that people don't necessarily think of when they think of tech talent.
Thank you, Barbara, for the introduction. Once again, my name is Kathy. I focus on hiring IT talents at Advanced Auto Parts. People see us as an auto parts store, but we see ourselves as a company going through a transformation to modernize our IT infrastructures, like moving to the cloud. And as you all know, IBM is a known brand. Job seekers flock to them. Most times, we had more candidates than positions to fill. But one of the offerings IBM had encouraged was higher education, providing reimbursements for certifications and degrees. They're adding value to their employees, while their people are adding value back to the company. At Advanced Auto Parts, I source and speak on how our IT roles gives an opportunity to be part of something new, providing challenges, enhancing their skills while laying down the foundation. Tech guys love to be the first to work on new projects and finding new ways to start and improve projects. At Advanced Auto Parts, we also encourage and support promotion within the company to obtain our talents and to also grow their talents. Job seekers are excited about things like that.
So that's great perspective. Thank you for sharing that. And I thought what was also interesting is they like to be the first to it. So I think that's an interesting behavioral characteristic that we should consider, right? And I think also interesting is prior to even IBM, you worked in the staffing industry as an IT recruiter. And I'm sure you have lots of observations you could share with us about tech job seekers, but if you have any additional thoughts on that, we'd love to hear them.
Well, during my career on the staffing side, I've encountered various IT job seekers. Normally, they fall in these categories. Those that are looking for short-term work, those are looking for special project that fits their niche skills, and also those looking for a contract to hire where both parties can test the water before they invest in each other. And there are those that are fed up with big corporations looking for small to mid-sized companies where they can make an impact or stand out and have their ideas be heard. Those are the types of job seekers that I've encountered on my staffing side, which I find are very unique, where small business can tap into those.
Very interesting. And did you also find any other types of job seekers in tech that maybe had worked in tech in a long time and now they're seeking something else later in their career? Did you run into that?
Yes, we always run into tech seekers that are, that have been worn out from traveling too much. They want to spend more time with their families, or they want to be able to, work for a smaller company where again, they can make an impact, but not put in so much hours like they would with a bigger company.
Oh, very interesting. I think we often overlook the obvious, right?
Yes, we do.
Very interesting. Let's take a minute and turn to Tony. So Tony, tell us a little bit about your experience, maybe some challenges you faced, and the upskilling, how you approached upskilling your staff to fill some very important IT roles.
Thank you, Barbara. One of the things that's a little unique about us is the fact that in the cybersecurity field, there just has never been a clear pathway to cybersecurity. If you wanted to be an attorney, you know what the career pathway is. If you want to be a nurse, cybersecurity, there has not been a career pathway. So we were forced to find other ways, and we did that through apprenticeship. So back in 2013, we formed what we believe is the first cybersecurity apprenticeship program in the country, and decided to train people in what we wanted them to know. Integrity is really, really important in cybersecurity, no matter what type of degree, what kind of background you have. If you have anything that, any chinks in your armor as it relates to integrity, you're not employable. We can't use you. Our customers would not allow us to, nor would our insurance carriers allow us to. So what we have to do is start with individuals who have the necessary integrity makeup and are trainable, and train from within, using apprenticeship as a tool to do that.
And Tony, can you tell us a little bit about, because I think you were definitely the first IT apprenticeship program for sure in the Triangle area in the state. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you put that together? Did you guys do it on your own? Did you have any assistance?
We did both from the federal and the state side. The state has an organization called Apprenticeship NC that is charged with helping organizations put things together. But at the end of the day, a lot of it, in terms of what you want, what the type of training that you want to provide, it's really up to you. But I mean, the way I think of it, and the way I try to explain it, apprenticeship is like this. How many times have you gone to a trade fair and you found people that have 80% of what you want or need? And then a lot of times you'll just turn around and walk away. Well, with apprenticeship, what you do is it's just a formal process of giving those individuals the last 20% of what you want them to know. So what you do is you document what it is that they don't know and you want them to know, and then you put together a formal process in putting that together. You formalize it, and Apprenticeship NC can help you write that up, and that is your apprenticeship. So many people think that it's too paperwork intensive, but it really is not. These are things that you're going to have to document anyway. You know what you want people to know how to do. Write it down, and then create a path on how you can give them those skills.
And that's a great point. That numerous times that I've just heard it's so much paperwork and administrative work. We don't have time for that. So one of the questions I often receive is, did you have to hire additional staff to take on this apprenticeship work?
We did not. I mean, at the end of the day, your project managers, they know exactly what kind of talent and skill they need. They know what they want their people to know. And it's the process of them writing that down and documenting it. And then, we've been in business for 23 years. And one of the things that's always made us unique is our ability to stay at the forefront of technology. So education and training was always something that was a part of our DNA. In IT, I think you just have to make that part of your DNA. Technology changes so fast that, you can't, it's too hard to rely on the industry to step back and say, I want the skill set. You want that skill set, you need to learn how to train your people to do that. What we find is that the level of loyalty that you get from your people is really high. And it's kind of spurred on and kind of created another part of our business, which is if an organization has difficulty finding the talent, business is nothing more than the process of problem solving. And many times the businesses the problems that many of our customers have is that they just can't find people with the talent. And so as part of our business, we will help them identify people that have that 80% and train them and support them in creating the talent that they need.
And I think you've stated it so well. I often tell people, don't think about, if apprenticeship is scary, if that word scares you, but you're interested in it, it's really just a long-term training commitment to your employee, right? As the employer. And it's this mutually beneficial relationship that just says, I'm committed to you and you're learning, and the company's going to benefit from it as well. So I actually try to look at it that way and explain it that way to help people better understand it, because I think sometimes it's the unknown, right? I don't know. That's a big word. I hear it a lot, and I keep hearing I need help to do all the paperwork. So thank you for articulating that so well. And can you tell us a little bit? I know we had a conversation about some of your employees who have literally no tech background that you brought on board. I think everybody would benefit from hearing about that.
Sure. So one of the things that we've done I started my conversation and said integrity meant so much to many of our customers. So what we did was we put together a list of what are the cognitive and non-cognitive skills that we need in a high-performing cybersecurity person. And integrity rated high. How do you prove somebody that has integrity? That's difficult. But if a person has a secret or top secret clearance from the Department of Defense, if Uncle Sam trusts them, my customer has a tendency to trust them. So what we started doing is to focus on military veterans. We take individuals who may not have a technical background, but they had the secret or top secret clearance. And what we would do, and I use the example of Miguel. Miguel was a infantryman who was injured in a Humvee accident, hurt his back and had to be medically retired from the military. When we graded him on both those cognitive and non-cognitive skills, he graded off the charts. He wanted to be a cybersecurity professional. We put together our training plan. We put him through training. He did a 24-month apprenticeship program while he worked for us, did some great work for us. And so from 27 months from the day we met him to 27 months later, he was later hired as the senior IT auditor for Red Hat. So wow. when you think about the level of credentials with certifications in A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CYSA, Pen Test Plus, and CISSP. When you look at those certifications, generally you'd expect somebody to have 10 to 15 years experience doing that. Once again, we were able to carry that in 27 months, partially because when someone is doing the academic work and then they're putting their hands on the technology simultaneously, the education and training process moves so much faster. So what we're trying to do is to help people to understand that, traditionally we go to school and then later on we apply it. But what we found is that if you're educating and applying it simultaneously, it moves much, much, much faster. And we think that this is the perfect recipe for training technical people.
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it with us all. I think we're all just in awe at what he was able to accomplish with the right support, right? So it's a very focused, targeted support with a clear mission in mind. So it's amazing what can happen when you are focused like that.
One last point that I wanted to add is that when I talked to other organizations about why they weren't willing to do apprenticeships, one of their concerns, they were concerned about investing so much in people. And their concern is that IT people have a tendency to jump from job to job. And their concern is if I invest all this time and energy in this person and they turn around and leave, that's going to be really difficult for us. But what we found is via apprenticeship, you form such a tight bond with those individuals. You met them at a low level, you train them to a high level, and their appreciation is off the chain. So they really want to stay with your organization. In the our experience with Miguel, we trained him beyond a level that we had work for him to do. And our other employees get an opportunity to see that we want our people to grow and soar, and we're going to promote their careers. So they're ISG for life. So once again, forming that bond with people, I think, is so valuable, and something that as businesses in these high demand fields, we're going to have to get back to.
Well, that's very interesting, because even in our earlier poll, everyone, well, the majority of people did say the very concerning competitive feature is wages, right? And how do I retain this tech talent that I've worked so hard to recruit and pull in? Kathy, is there anything you want to chime in on that?
Yes, I mean, salary has been a challenge across the board, especially with new companies, new tech companies moving into the areas. And so a lot of these bigger companies, they try to promote a work-life balance, but at the end of the day, is it really a work-life balance to where a small or mid-sized company can actually offer a real work-life balance? And then, other ways to be competitive would be, sign-on bonus or extra vacations, and, a smaller environment where people can, work in during a post-pandemic, offerings like that, focusing on talents that are shifting during their career, tired of working for a larger corporation, and then, promoting, how promotion works within your company, or how you invest in them. Like Tony said, you invest in them first, you get that commitment from them, that build that relationship, and then, be able to negotiate better when you compare yourself to a larger company.
That's a great point, and I think so often forgotten about in the race for getting tech talent into your company. We do tend to focus just on the financial aspect, when the people component remains that underlying strength of the value proposition for joining your company, right? So I think excellent point. And tell us a little bit about, I think for some of our small business and medium-sized business folks who are attending today, can either of you comment on maybe some helpful tips or hints that they might want to consider in trying to attract and recruit tech talent? Because I think the conversation about wages is very relevant to them. I think that can be a real challenge of, how do I get the right talent when I can only afford and budget so much for that forecasted position?
Well, I would say that you've really got to keep your eye on the ball. Technology is moving fast. The acquisition of new talent is very expensive. The whole process, when you think about the opportunity lost when you're out looking for talent, what it costs you to recruit, find the right person, train that right person, and get them up to speed, it is expensive. So anything that you can do to train the people that you have and upgrade their skills while they're there. And then if you train them, they've got advanced skills, give them a bump. You got to reach your arms around them, hug them, love them, treat them well, and hope they stay. But what we found is that if you invest in people and they know that you're going to take care of them, we've had individuals that have with their skill sets, we know that they could go other places and make a lot more money. But we compete on, nobody's going to treat you any better than we treat you. So unfortunately, it's like dating. You got to treat her really well to get her to stay. So that's how I think you've got to look at your tech talent. And it's not just money, it's training. And they've got to see, if you start laying people off, if you have a lag in things and you lay off 5 people in June, and then you bring them back in September, you have to understand that has a rippling effect to everybody in your organization. So once again, with tech talent, it's so hard to get, you really have to focus on retention.
That's a great point.
In some ways,
Great point.
Barbara, to add on to that is, promote your company's website, promote that you have, these jobs, and you're working, this is a small company and these are the perks of working at a small company. You can also go on to LinkedIn postings where you can post, on the little blurb going, I'm hiring, and then just list some of the skill sets that are being hired. And then, promote your referral programs, maybe not just internally, but external people, ask their friends of a friend or a colleague of a colleague, and promote the referral program. And then there's also niche job sites, which employers can customize and highlight their strengths to better target specific job types as well too. There are sites like Snag-a-Jobs or Flex Jobs. There's also college career sites, partner with different colleges or university in your areas, and then, invest in those new grads. And again, just like what Tony said, bring them in, train them, love them, get them committed, to the team, to the company. And that also really helps, the loyalty, the commitment that's there. And then also, writing a better job description. A lot of companies, lack the experience of writing a good, straightforward job descriptions where, you can stand out, be precise, so your applicants can feel comfortable, reading through the job descriptions. Those are other ways that you can, promote or find better talents.
That's a great point on the job description, actually. How often do we take for granted, we think we got it covered, right? So being very clear so that you can attract the folks that fit, right? Very interesting. And I think some of your LinkedIn tips are also very interesting. I don't know if everybody realizes that, right? You can add those just small pieces when you are in the market for some great talent, and maybe that's a great way to spark some interest, right? So I think also a terrific idea. We did get a question I want to work in from our audience. How do you keep current employees up to date on new technologies?
Well, one of the things that we do within our organization is that we try to keep our ear to the ground on what our employees are really interested in. And when we find their areas that they're interested in, we send them out for training, and we task them with actually coming back and training their peers. What that does is it builds a stronger team. It gives them a sense of belonging. If you put an individual in a position where they're actually giving back to and training, it's amazing what that does to a younger employee that has an opportunity to teach some of the people that are mentoring them in specific areas. So it does a couple of things. It entrenches that internal training for within our organization, and it makes people feel better about their jobs and helps them to feel like they're a stronger member of the team.
Excellent. Kathy, anything from your perspective on that as well?
Like Tony said, it's keeping up with technology. I mean, it changes constantly. So companies, should also, especially if you're looking for a niche security person, it's very important that, what is the latest trend, read articles and join groups within LinkedIn. There's always talks about that, or sessions where you can join, educate yourself, so then the right talent to hire.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. And, I know that we'll be getting to this, but we also have a job fair specifically focused on tech that I'm sure will come up later in the discussion. But there are different avenues to be able to try to sync up with them. Let's see. So I also, when Tony and I talked last week, one of the things that sparked out of our conversation that I wanted to ask him today is, why is IT a great field for people who did not take the college route?
Well, nowadays, folks are, as an IT employer, I'll tell you, I'm more concerned in an individual being able to get the job done. And one of the analogies I always use is the fact that, if you were gonna get on a flight and you had two planes, one, the pilot had a PhD in aerodynamics, but no flight experience. The other pilot had a GED and 20 years of flight experience. Which plane would you get on? You don't care about the degree. You just want to know that they can fly the plane. So what we tried to do in our training, a portion of all of our training classes are not only can you get the certification, but there's a component to it. We teach you to fly the plane. You have to prove to us that you can do the job. You can come to us with 800 certifications, but if you can't get that job done, that's the piece that's most important. So if you think about that, if you didn't go to college, here is, you can go out and spend 4 to 5 weeks in a certification class, there's some excellent online training courses that you can take. And once you prove to someone that you're a great technician, you've saved yourself 4 years and a whole lot of money. But at the end of the day, and one of the things that we would, back when we were building software, one of the things that we would always do when hiring programmers is that we would go through the basic interview, and then we would put them in a room. And the requirement that room had to be a special room. The room had 2 doors. The door we brought them in, and it had a back door that they could leave. So people put a lot of things on their resume. And then when we'd walk them in that room, all they would have to do is a small programming project. And about 60% of the people would use that back door and walk out of the back room because they knew they couldn't program. But we would have people with biology degrees, people with no degrees that could just program, and they did great work, and they would come back. And once again, but you've got to come up with a process of figuring out what the person really can do. I'm not interested in the credentials. I got a job that needs to be done. And how can we give people an opportunity to show what they can do? And if you can do it without that 4-year degree, and I don't want to undervalue the benefits of college.
Sure.
What I feel is once you start working, especially in IT, you have to commit yourself to constant ongoing learning. So if you think, okay, I've learned this and I can stop, IT is not the area for you, because you've got to commit yourself to being a lifelong learner.
Well, and one of the things I found fascinating when we spoke was you have somebody who had a biology degree. You have someone that doesn't have a degree, and just hearing their stories, and it's not just talk. I mean, it's real. You've got these folks that you've hired on and invested in, and they're doing well.
Yeah.
So I loved hearing that, because I think a lot of times it sounds interesting, but I mean, really, is that really happening? And it is, and it can. So the possibilities are terrific. So thank you for highlighting that, because that was really interesting.
Sure.
Let's see, I do want to make sure that we have everybody's questions from the audience. So you can put it in the chat box, or if you want, you can, raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can ask your question directly.
Barbara,
Yes.
one point that I did want to make, and this is as we're waiting for those questions to come in,
Yep.
is that this is a message to employers, is that, that once again, the emphasis is on getting your job done. And many times it's easy to get hung up in the idea that we have to look for certain credentials. And, the best programmer I've ever had a biology degree. The best network administrator I had absolutely no degree at all, but was just amazing. So we have there is a personality type, and I refer to many of our technical people as what I refer to as Boolean thinkers. And they are individuals that will thrive in a technical environment, but they just won't thrive in a classroom. So if you think about it, Bill Gates was one of those types of people. The classroom wasn't the place for him, but he did very well. Obviously, he had a good grasp on technology. So many times we overlook some excellent people because, so if you can find a way to other ways besides just a verbal interview to give people an opportunity to show off what they can do, then you can find some great gems.
And that's a great point, right? So often people arrive and they're nervous at the interview, right? But how do you create an environment, to your point, where they can really show what they're passionate about and what they excel at, right? And give them the opportunity to demonstrate that, I think is a terrific point. Thank you for adding that in. And Kathy, is there anything else that you wanted to add that maybe we didn't get covered yet this morning?
No, I think we covered a lot of great things. I do want to add, assessments are very good way for businesses to, try out their talents as well too. Let's say if you're looking for a web developer, someone to do create your web page or something like that, ask them to bring in samples, provide things that they've done, show their work, because they do take pride in that. And a lot of them get really excited when they are able to kind of show that to a company. They get lost in the shuffle of bigger companies where they get a lot of submissions. But with smaller companies, take advantage of being personable with them, where you can take time and really talk to them, get to know them, let them get to know you and your business, and and get that interest level, build that relationship. So like, again, have them show what they can do, providing their work, and they get excited about the role, and then they won't think about the salary. They won't think like, oh, Amazon offered me 150, but you're only giving me 90, but I know you're going to invest in me. I know you're not going to work me to the ground, things like that. You can also, be candid with candidates when you're speaking to them, create that dialogue. I know a lot of the times it's hard, especially for new grads. They want to work on big companies. They want to work for, bigger and better causes and stuff like that. But then when you reason with them, they would, it's like being a parent almost. It's like reasoning with them. It's like, okay, you can do this for a year or two, but how are you going to be after that? How are you going to grow? How are you going to stand out? To whereas a smaller company, you can take advantage of X, Y, and Z and stand out and have your idea actually go into action. It's being executed. And tech people take pride in that, showing their work, being able to utilize, their skills or their knowledge, or even just their natural talent, and again, like myself, I'm not the best test taker, but at the end of the day, when I'm connecting with employers or employees, I have the personality skills, and which a lot of tech people don't, so you kind of have to draw it out. You kind of have to invest in that time to find something where both of you can have in common, get them excited about your company and why they should come and work for you.
Kathy, that's a really, really good point of many times our technical people, while they are great with technical work, just like all of us, some of us have chinks in our armor. And use the analogy of one of the apprentices that we brought through, the same time we brought Miguel through, was excellent technologically. But I tell you what, if he sent you an email, you had to call him back to find out what he was talking about. I mean, his writing was horrible. And, rather than, and it was something that he was somewhat embarrassed about, but didn't know how to fix. So, in situations like that, you meet people where they are, and then you help to give them the trainings that's necessary. One of the other things about Boolean thinkers is many of them have difficulty communicating. So one of the things that we require in our apprenticeship program is all of our apprentices go through, name just fell out of my head. Oh my goodness, the organization, Toastmasters. Everyone is required to go through Toastmasters. And it gives you in a closed environment, helps you get comfortable with public speaking. And when you can meet people and help them get over things that they've struggled with in the past, once again, that strengthens that bond. And it's a better way of keeping your technical talent.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for adding that in, Tony. Very interesting. And it is so important to meet people where they are. So important. So we did just get another question. And so they really appreciated all the tips and hints and tricks about, leveraging LinkedIn, how to plug in and highlight if they're working on maybe filling some open tech positions at their company. But they also, the questions very specifically, like that's all really great. But is there any partner that is out there that could help them with recruiting? And they could not have set me up with a better question to wrap up our time with our panel today. So yes, there is a partner out there that can help you with recruiting. But first, I certainly want to thank Kathy and Tony for your time and all the information you've shared with us today. Thank you so much. It's been really very interesting. And I think everybody's going to walk away from this with at least 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 just nuggets that resonated with them that they're going to walk back and be able to implement pretty quickly. So thank you for sharing all of that rich experience you have recruiting and attracting the tech talent, and the very important part that you both highlighted, retaining the talent. So critical. But thank you so much for sharing your experience with non-traditional applicants as well. I think that's really important to our entire workforce in the area. I do want to let everybody know, if you do have any questions, further questions, feel free to keep putting them in the chat box and we'll get them answered for you. And if we don't get them answered for you within the balance of the hour, we'll get back in touch with you and get them answered for you. What I'd like to do now is introduce you to someone who can talk to you about having a partner in recruiting. And that is Cortland Jingles. He's our business services manager at NC Works. And I think he's going to be able to also share some great ways that you'll know that you do not have to approach this alone for your company. We can help. And he's going to certainly share various ways that NC Works can support businesses in the capital area. So Cortland.
Yes, ma'am.
Take it away. Yes.
Thank you, Barbara. So as you said, that was a perfect setup to kind of segue into my part of the presentation. And so in short, guys, good morning. Again, my name is Cortland Jingles. I'm the business services manager at the NC Works Career Centers covering Wake and Johnston County. And in short, we're helping to connect businesses in Wake County with talent and resources. Today, I'm going to be providing an overview of those services and the workforce solutions that our team provides to those employers, and hopefully provide you guys with some insight. So in short, who is NC Works? Let's see, looks like you moved a slide ahead of me. All right, so who is NC Works? Well, while this information is a refresher for some of you on this call today, I know that this is some new information for others. And so it is my hope that by the end of the session, that you guys will have a general understanding of our menu of business services that are available to your business at no cost. And some things about NC Works. So we are North Carolina's statewide workforce system. And again, we're connecting businesses and job seekers. We're responsive to the needs of both businesses and job seekers. And we're offering them with a variety of different sources, resources, services. And these things are basically available to help make both thrive. So the business and the job seeker. We're going to help you find quality talent, and we're going to grant you with access to, post your open jobs, gain business insights, also provide you with some labor market information, and we can collaborate with you to, of course, develop talent pipelines. So I know that's something that was dropped a little earlier in today's conversation, but we're here to help you with all of those things. And we also provide employability skills trainings, such as workshops, creating resumes, preparing for interviews, and some soft skill development courses that are again, focused on job seekers to help, to Tony's point, upskill them and get them ready to enter the workforce. Next slide, please. All right. And so jumping into some of those things. So how are we responsive to the needs of businesses? And what does that actually mean for you guys on the call today? So the business services team connects businesses with qualified talent, and we do this by referring candidates to open jobs. We're assisting employers with, again, labor market information to help you all understand what is the salary information, what are salaries that are comparative, that are basically projected in industry growth. We're also hosting hiring events, career fairs, and expos and other employment-related information sessions that are going to, again, help you guys connect to talent and ultimately fill your needs. So some of our work-based learning incentives include on-the-job training. And so guys, on-the-job training is a reimbursement of up to 50% of a new employee's wages while in training. So we've heard about, how people are gaining skills, how they're working through apprenticeships to build and develop skill sets. On-the-job training is a resource that's coupled with apprenticeship to, again, help those job seekers that may not have the skill set that you're looking for at the forefront, build those skill sets and ultimately become those great candidates, great employees that you're looking for. Additionally, we have access to work experience funding, which this provides participants with the exposure of industries and occupations, and it also allows them to acquire hands-on experience and build their professional network. With these work experiences, guys, they can be paid or unpaid. And these are things, again, that are available to your business to help build the skill sets of job seekers. Last but not least, although we don't, I'd say, really facilitate the apprenticeship piece of things, again, we're here to connect you guys with NC Apprenticeship. We're here to connect you with relevant information about the apprenticeship process. We're also here to help you guys recruit, train, and help you have those skilled workers that are gonna, of course, help you guys stay relevant and complete the work that you're attempting to do in the community. Some additional resources that we do have available to employers also include Catalyst 2020, which this is a funding opportunity that's going to help you guys pretty much provide funding and enhance the existing workforce, existing skill set, of your existing workforce. This is something that's available through Capital Area Workforce Development, but again, we're here to connect you with those resources. Some other things that we could talk about or help you with are connections to the Work Opportunity Tax Credit and also federal bonding. And so, again, I know Tony talked a lot about, working with underskilled talent, training them. I did some research, guys, and by the numbers, I looked over the work that we did as a business services team last year. At the height of COVID, we were able to work with about 16 different candidates to place them with 4 different employers. The jobs that they were placed into, they ranged from network engineers to help desk professionals, cybersecurity professionals. And we were able to provide employers with over $46,000 in cost savings. And again, that was specifically at the height of COVID of last year, last year in 2020. I looked at the numbers, and so far, 2021, we're on track to exceed those things that we did last year. We've successfully placed 12 candidates with 2 employers with cost savings right now at $40,000 and increasing. So we're out there to, again, help you guys find talent, connect you with resources, help you pretty much navigate this workforce system and any of those community partners and or training providers that we're working with, and again, help you build a strong talent pool. One thing I want to make sure that I do answer, Tony talked about things being pretty much paper intensive. So it's not much work on the employer's end to get started. Our team is here to help you through that process. So the paperwork, we're able to pretty much work that out for you guys. There's not going to be a package consisting of 35 different pieces of paper or 35 different, documents that you have to go through, that you have to send to a lawyer to pretty much read through. Our team can pretty much do that legwork for you. Also, there isn't much red tape, so we're not going to come in and pretty much take over your business operation. We're here as a extra set of hands. That's the best way to put it. And so I know there will be some questions, and I'll just hang around at the close of the event to pretty much answer those.
Okay, thank you, Cortland. We can turn it over to Brent.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brent Royal, and I am a workforce development program consultant with Capital Area Workforce Development. Today, I'm going to briefly discuss an exciting new program that Capital Area Workforce Development has partnered with IBM on by the name of Ibm Skills Build. To provide a little background, Capital Area Workforce Development is one of 10 workforce boards in the country chosen by IBM to help expand IBM Skills Build across the United States. IBM Skills Build is a career readiness program provided at no cost to job seekers and entrepreneurs with online coursework, credentials, coaching, marketable skills, and career experience, readying people for in-demand entry-level IT and non-IT roles in many industries. Skills Build is a digital learning platform designed by IBM to reach more job seekers and provide new resources to business owners. The estimated market value of IBM Skills Build platform is estimated at up to $300,000 worth of learning materials. IBM Skills Build provides opportunities for employees, job seekers, business owners, entrepreneurs, and any individual with learning aspirations to tap into a host of industry relevant content, including artificial intelligence, cloud, data analytics, and security to reskill and upskill themselves at no cost. In our ever-changing world of business, job seekers and other learners need fresh skills to take on technical careers. Business owners and managers need the know-how to successfully navigate a digital economy. IBM Skills Build seeks to help those with skills and knowledge. For individuals interested in exploring IT, but they don't know where to start, there is a career assessment they may take on the Skills Build website through My Inner Genius. The Skills Build website is www.skillsbuild.org. If you sign up directly on the Skills Build website without going through the Capital Area Workforce Development website or working with a staff member at the NC Works Career Center, you'll only have access to the open platform, which doesn't provide you with premium Skills Build Your Learning access. So that open platform still, it's good, but it has less information, but it's still valuable to employers and employees. So with Skills Build Your Learning access, you'll receive access to over 10,000 learning materials. As long as you're 18 years of age or older and are registered with NC Works Online, you can receive Skills Build access. Skills Build Your Learning is what I recommend to employers and employees. And there are two ways employers and employees can access Skills Build Your Learning. One way is to submit a Skills Build interest form at capitalareancworks.com/Skills Build. Another way is to contact the NC Works Career Center, one of the NC Works Career Centers in the capital area, in reference to Skills Build, and you can work directly with that staff to get access. Once you receive a Skills Build invitation to your email, you'll be able to access the Skills Build platform, and you can log in via one of 4 methods. And those methods are using an IBM ID, Google, LinkedIn, or Facebook. I would recommend employers and employees to sign up with the IBM ID option. You'll have the opportunity to complete learning materials, mainly centered around technology, but there's also an opportunity to expand and expound upon an array of other digital learning topics. So for example, there are learning plans such as customer service, job application essentials, and entrepreneurship business essentials. With the completion of learning plans, you'll earn a certified IBM badge that you can showcase on like your LinkedIn profile, things of that nature, just to showcase your expertise. You'll receive an email from Credly within 48 hours after you complete the learning material. And there are approximately 15 badges, mostly centered around IT, that you can accept and claim through Credly. So we're going to go ahead and move to the next slides. I know we're getting limited on time here. So employees and other learners can browse a sample of growing IT fields such as cybersecurity, big data, blockchain, artificial intelligence, just to name a few. You can learn how IT teams apply agile methods in design thinking, take online courses to gain digital and professional skills, gain job search skills. You can assign learning paths to yourself in web development. I mean, just an array of all the different IT fields you can pretty much think of. There's some information out there in Skills Build. You can receive one-on-one coaching in technology, professional, and job search skills with an IBM expert. And you can also participate in innovation projects, which you could also list on your resume or your LinkedIn profile that you were, actually a part of. So if you have any additional questions, you can reach me by phone at 919-664-7965, or you can email me at brent.royal@wakegov.com. I'll also post a flyer in the chat and just the links, the hyperlinks to the Skills Build information. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and thank you for your time this morning, and I'll hand it back over to Brian.
All right. Thank you, Brent.
Yes, sir.
Also, thank you, everyone, the Sector Strategies Committee for putting this together, our speakers, Barbara, Kathy, Tony, Brent, Cortland, people behind the scenes who were working on this, Crystal and Melinda, and everybody else at Capital Area. I hope you in the audience got some helpful tips to think about how you might be able to hire that tech talent you're looking for. But I really hope you understand the massive amount of resources that we can bring to bear at Capital Area to help you with the problems you have. So don't hesitate to reach out to Brent, reach out to Barbara. We're here to help. Thank you so much. And we appreciate your time this morning. Everybody have a good day. Bye-bye.